hostage culture dimension when it comes to a multinational organization moving into a new country or a new market. So the new market or the country that we've selected is Bangladesh, and the reason to do so is the low cost of production. According to JETRO, Bangladesh has the lowest cost of production when it is compared to countries like Vietnam, India, or China. And the second factor would be the component of the first one, which is low labor wage. According to JETRO, Bangladesh has less than half of the wage when it comes to compared to countries like India or China. This is a graphical representation of the high business confidence in Bangladesh and the low cost of production during the recent years. Now, in terms of culture, this is what Bangladesh scores when it comes to hostage culture dimensions, which means that when we talk about the power distance, Bangladesh is a high power distance country, and they prefer and they believe in hierarchies and inequality between people, and they prefer autocratic leadership style. When it comes to collectivism, Bangladesh is a collectivist society, and they prefer strong relationships over rules. And Bangladesh is also considered to be a masculine society, which means they are competition and success driven, and the managers are assertive and decisive. And in terms of uncertainty avoidance, Bangladesh scores high, which means that innovation is lacked, and people do not support new ideas, which can include new products as well. So the company that we selected is Nestle, which is originally a company from Switzerland and is considered to be one of the largest food companies in terms of revenue by Forbes in 2014. And these are some of the products that Nestle offers, and the product that we'll be entering Bangladesh with our frozen food category. In order to successfully do so, they have to localize their strategies. And before we go into the localization strategy, let's look into the definition of localization, which means adapting or changing your product according to the requirement of a new country, new culture, or a new market. So the first localization fit would be the buying behavior of consumers in Bangladesh. Nestle would have to consider whether the people are price conscious, meaning they buy the high class people buying high price product according to satisfy their social class, or are they impulsive buying? Are they impulsive purchasers, which means that can they control their impulsive tendencies and consider the consequences of their actions? Are they brand loyal to the products that they currently use? Are they willing to switch them for a new product? And if they do, would they be loyal? How long would they be loyal to this new product? The second analysis would be in terms of the 4 Ps, which are product, which means that localizing it in terms of the local taste and preferences. Nestle could add local dishes into their menu, for example, fish, or they could come up with products like with headings like the family pack, since Bangladesh is considered to be a collectivist society. Moving towards price, Nestle would have to consider which pricing strategy to use. They have to localize the pricing strategy. They have to consider whether they're going to use the cost, competition, or demand-based pricing strategy. For example, if in Bangladesh Nestle has a lot of rival companies, they should be selecting competition-based strategy, and also they have to consider the demand of their product and then price it accordingly. In terms of place, they have to localize their distribution channel or strategy, because the distribution channel or the strategy would be different in the main cities when it is compared to the outskirt areas or the villages. They have to localize it according to the infrastructure of Bangladesh. And in terms of promotion, they have to localize their promotion strategy in such a way that that it depicts the culture of Bangladesh. For example, using local language or local artists or local dressing style in their advertisements, which would help Nestle to connect better with the people. The third localization fit would be the attitude of Bangladeshi people towards multinational organization. They would have to consider what people think about them. For example, the pricing strategy. Do they think that the product is priced too high or it's reasonable? What do they think about the foreign culture that the company brings in with them? And what do they think about the quality of the products that are offered by multinational organizations? So if Bangladesh applies these localization strategies and uses hostage culture dimension in order to get familiar with the culture in Bangladesh, they can successfully reduce the risk and eventually increase the profit as well. And that would be all. Thank you.
Let's move into your discussion now. You see, when you're talking about I think the acceptance level of Nestle products in Bangladesh should be very high, because I think they would love Bangladesh. The people in Bangladesh would actually like to buy foreign products. Okay, but I'm looking more towards the management practices based on the aspects that I mentioned. Okay, now in Bangladesh, there's a lot of issues. You know, Bangladesh is an upcoming country and is very stable at the moment, but there's a lot of political issues that are happening in Bangladesh, and corruption is quite high. Okay, in Bangladesh. So now, how has practice in terms of business ethics and transparency? Nestle is a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah.
They are huge in ethics and governance. Okay, so how are you going to ensure that the issues on ethics and transparency are maintained and is safeguarded in Bangladesh? Because you understand what I mean. Because in Bangladesh, issues like child labor is very high. Corruption is very high. So these are all against Nestle's practices. So as as a consultant, how would you advise the management to ensure that these practices are not being abused? Your ethics, are not being
As a
abused.
consultant, I think creating relationship, improving the relationship with the, maintaining relationship with the high political people that are concerned with that. And moreover, I think when they hire people, because as a multinational organization, they have to hire almost 80 to 90% of Bengali people,
Yes.
and conducting workshops in terms of letting them know about their ethics and letting them know that they won't compromise on it. I think it would give them, the people, a brief idea about they're not willing to compromise it, and maintaining relationship with high political people who are related in that field would give them a bit advantage in this case.
Okay, so you think that employing and educating the people who are coming to work for you,
Yes.
that is one way to work. Okay, good. Okay, the second question would be in terms of infrastructure development. Bangladesh is very prone to natural disasters, accidents, and things like that. Okay, so how are we, when you're setting up, what sort of, where would you plan to set up your plant? Are you going to set up a plant? What are you going to do?
Setting up a plan would probably be in big cities, because if they were doing religious or outskirt areas, it's going to be really hard for them in terms of infrastructure.
Yes.
Because in the main cities, the infrastructure is developed, but when it comes to villages and outskirt area, they have to use the traditional Bangladeshi transportation, which is like lorries and everything, which is going to be hard. So that's why the manufacturing plants, main manufacturing plants, should be in the main cities where the infrastructure is quite developed.
Okay, that's all. Thank you, Radha.
Okay.
Thank you.